Electric-type Pokemon. In solo runs, especially in Gen 1, they aren't particularly good, with Brock being the first gym leader and his two Pokemon having immunity to electric attacks. And if you're playing Pokemon Yellow, you have to worry about Giovanni as a threat later since his entire team got a glow-up between Red and Blue and Yellow, along with the fact that electric types tend to have limited move pools, with the majority of the TMs they have access to being the normal and the two electric moves in Generation 1. Of course, there are a few exceptions, but today I'm going to see if I can beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Red using only the electric type. Rules are on screen but also in the description. The reason for Pokemon Red is because Electabuzz is exclusive to Red, and it's going to be our starter today, because you aren't beating Brock at his level cap of 14 with Voltorb, Magnemite, or Pikachu. Don't believe me? Look up any of those Pokemon in a solo run, or try to do it yourself, and I'll put some damage ranges on the screen to just further back this up. And while Zapdos, who is an electric type, could get by Brock, you guys know that Legendaries just make these Nuzlockes run on easy mode, so we're banning Big Bird. And while Jolteon is also capable of getting by Brock at his level cap of 14, I feel like it's against the spirit of the run to start with one. Now, for anybody who's about to comment, "But you're starting with Electabuzz, you can't get that until the power plant." I'm fully aware, no fun police. I'm doing what I need to do to get this Nuzlocke off the ground, but shortly after receiving our starter and defeating our rival, we can get our first encounter in Viridian Forest, a Pikachu. This thing has a 5% encounter rate, and it took me so long to find one. I actually took a break when originally looking for one and forgot to record me capturing it. Whoops, guess it's an invalid encounter now. After training up to Brock's level cap of 14, the strategy is to lead with Pikachu and get up 6 Growls to lower Geodude's attack to the absolute minimum, then swap to Electabuzz and get up as many Leers as I can, because Geodude also has Defense Curl. After lowering its defense to a level I deem appropriate, a flurry of quick attacks knock it out. This is rinse and repeat on Onix while making sure we don't attack and abide, and as long as you pay attention to the battle, you'll earn yourself the first badge. There's nothing eventful in Mount Moon, but I do grab the Mega Punch TM as another option for Electabuzz, since it's not going to be getting its first electric type move until level 34. Once I arrive in Cerulean, I have the choice between Misty and my rival, and I decide to take on the rival and grind through Nugget Bridge before I take on Misty, because her Starmie can be a bit dangerous and my only electric type move is Thundershock between my two Pokemon. The good thing is that Thundershock is good enough to nearly one-shot Pidgeotto as the annoying bird doesn't go for Sand Attack, and once I take it out, Pikachu can take a nice rest as Electabuzz easily handles the rest of the team with Mega Punch. Nugget Bridge is also uneventful because we aren't going to get another encounter until Route 10 when we get access to Cut, which you can't use Cut outside of battle until you beat Misty, and I have to manage my experience carefully between my two Pokemon while also making sure I don't exceed Misty's level cap in the meantime, or Surge's for that matter. Thankfully I can get through this group of mandatory battles and make it to Bill's before I challenge the second gym leader, Misty. She leads Staryu as I lead Electabuzz. I go for a turn 1 Thunder Wave, hoping for it to not attack for a few turns due to paralysis, which doesn't end up happening, but 2 Mega Punches take out her lead star. Her ace Starmie is next and I follow the same strat, paralyzing it with Thunder Wave and pelting it with Mega Punches. Her ace does bring Electabuzz down to 16 HP, and I don't want to lose my starter, so I swap to Pikachu, hoping that paralysis will stop its attack. But Misty's ace moves and hits a Bubble Beam. It gets a massive critical hit, but Pikachu survives with 1 HP, and thankfully my next Thundershock also gets a crit to earn me the second badge. That was quite the scare. And we have another scare soon after against the Innocent Bystander Rocket. I decided to leave Pikachu as my lead against his Machop, and the Mini Muscle Pokemon brings my Electric Rodent to under half HP before Drowsy comes out, and its Confusion brings Ash's ace down to 9 HP. I swap to Electabuzz because I'd rather not lose a Pokemon before the 3rd gym, as Drowsy is caught in paralysis and finished by a Mega Punch. Jumping ahead to the SSA, and it's business as usual. Grab the TM for Body Slam, battle the rival, which I remembered to record this time. I'm editing this one not too long after the Flying Nuzlocke released, and it's a joint effort knocking out Pidgeotto because the annoying bird uses Sand Attack on both of my Pokemon, and I don't want my accuracy lowered considering I'm going to have to rely on Mega Punch from Electabuzz, and once the annoying bird falls, its lone punching move for now, 1 or 2 shots his remaining team when it hits. Our third gym battle is against Captain America, Lieutenant Surge. It's weird to say that against Electabuzz, Voltorb is probably his most threatening Pokemon due to having Sonic Boom, which will always deal a constant 20 HP, but the exploding ball doesn't even go for the move, only using Tackle. Pikachu is knocked into next Tuesday from a single Mega Punch, and his ace Raichu falls to 2 Mega Punches, the second of which crits, with Surge at the end saying, "Whoa, I gotta get me one of them Electabuzz," which is why you see him with one in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. With being able to use Cut outside of battle, we can venture to Route 10, and we can finally get a new encounter, Voltorb. It's unfortunate that this thing, along with Electro, don't learn any electrical attacks by level up, but maybe the ball-shaped Pokemon can have a good role on the team, considering it's one of the 5 encounters we will have. Rock Tunnel had me a bit nervous. Not only does the first mandatory trainer, a Pokemaniac, have a Cubone with Bone Club, but there's also the self-destructing Hiker, and I was prepared to lose at least 1 Pokemon here, but losing 2 would probably result in restarting the entire run. If I have to lose a Pokemon though, it's going to be Voltorb, who I lead with as my sacrifice. I was expecting Geodude to blow up right away, but it doesn't, and I'm able to 3-shot his lead with Sonic Boom before swapping to Electabuzz for his second. I taught Body Slam to Electabuzz prior to Rock Tunnel as something for the Cubone and for the Hiker, but his second Geodude blows up, and Electabuzz survives with 18 HP remaining. I take a huge risk staying out against Graveler, going for Body Slam and hoping for paralysis, which I don't get as the 65% accurate Rock Throw hits, bringing me to 4 HP before I swap to my last healthy Pokemon, Pikachu. And I got an idea on the swap. I'm going to use Growl in hopes that it uses Self-Destruct and hopefully doesn't crit, and after 2 Growls, Graveler blows up, and Pikachu survives on 14 HP. No casualties, thank God. Once I arrive in Celadon, I beeline it right for the mansion. Once I climb to the top, we can get another encounter in Eevee. I purchased 2 Thunderstones from the department store, one of which I use now to evolve Eevee into Jolteon. Then I take a quick trip to Saffron City and give Electabuzz an upgrade to its moveset with the TM for Psychic. Now we have something that can hit rock types for neutral damage. But Psychic is also super effective against poison types, and 2 out of 3 of Erica's Pokemon are part poison type, so I take on the grass type gym leader next. Psychic looks like it's doing just under half to the grass poison type, as it misses a Razor Leaf, but my next gets a critical hit to finish it. Psychic looks like a 3-shot on Tangela, so I switch to Body Slam to preserve Psychic PP for Vileplume. Thanks to Erica using a Super Potion and Bind, knocking out the Vine Pokemon takes a little longer, but it doesn't do much damage to Electabuzz. Vileplume is last, and like with Victory Bell, it's a 2-shot with Psychic thanks to my second getting a critical hit. With the level cap now jumping to 43, we can get another evolution as Voltorb evolves into the fast as lightning Pokemon Electrode. We do have to face Giovanni before leaving Celadon, but thankfully having Psychic on Electabuzz's learn set, it's a pretty trivial battle. Along with the rival battle at Pokemon Tower, Electabuzz just solos this one as well, although I wish it had an electric move for Pidgeotto and Gyarados. While the rival does bring me under half HP, I was never worried about this battle. We're going to jump past Pokemon Tower now. I decided to head to Fuchsia City in the Safari Zone next. I want to blitz through the Safari Zone so I can get access to the final HMs, which will lead us to our final encounter, but before capturing our last encounter, I have to head to Koga's gym. The jugglers aren't a problem, and even though we can't learn Dig or Earthquake, Electabuzz has Psychic, making Koga pretty easy as well, 1 or 2-shotting all of his Pokemon for a sweep. Now that I can use Surf outside of battle, I take a trip back to Route 10 and to the power plant where we can get a few things. The first is our last encounter, which thanks to the power of video editing, we find right away, a Magnemite. I don't want to hit this thing because we're so over-leveled compared to it, so I chuck balls at it until it decides it wants to join the team. There's also the TM for Thunder here, which will be useful, and we stand face to face with the legendary bird Zapdos. But I don't have a Master Ball and won't be coming back to claim what's ours either. Shortly after joining the team, I level Magnemite up so it can evolve into a Magneton. Between the choice of facing Blaine or going to Saffron, I'm going to head to Saffron Saffron City and Silph. And while the battle against Rival 5 does have me a bit nervous, mainly the Alakazam and the Venusaur he has lurking in the back, there is one thing I can do prior to the battle. You see, Pikachu learns Thunder at level 43, which is its last level up move in Red and Blue. I wish it got Thunderbolt by level up like it does in Yellow, but once it reaches level 43, I can use the other Thunderstone I bought earlier to evolve it into Raichu, and Raichu is going to be my lead against the rival, with Thunder absolutely destroying Pidgeot and Gyarados before I tag out the Electric Mouse for Electabuzz against Growlithe. While it does hit me with 2 takedowns thanks to Body Slam barely missing the range, I'm thankfully faster than Alakazam, but Body Slam doesn't one-shot, and its Psybeam gets a critical hit to bring me to 13 HP. I could have and should have stayed in and swapped when Venusaur came out, but I swapped to Raichu early, as the rival just uses a potion. I always forget that that's in the code here. Anyway, Swift finishes it, and out comes the Frog, and Thunder looks like it's a 3 to 4 hit KO even with the Leech Seed healing, but unfortunately, Thunder does Thunder things, missing, as Venusaur brings my Pokemon down to 2 HP before I have to swap into Electrode for its battle debut. Venusaur doesn't move thanks to Paralysis, and instead of risking the 30% chance to miss with Thunder, I take the slow, easy way, using Swift to slowly chip it down and knock it out. Although Giovanni has 2 Ground-type Pokemon on his team, neither have a Ground-type move, and Electabuzz can just go burr with Psychic. I do get the Master Ball as a reward for getting rid of Team Rocket from the President, and while I could go back to the power plant and claim what's mine, sadly I won't be doing that in this playthrough. The only thing left to do in Saffron is to venture to Sabrina's gym and get our Marsh badge. The battle itself is pretty uneventful. I just leave my cursor on Body Slam, but I do end up switching to another move, Thunder Punch, which we end up learning in this battle at level 42. For this particular Nuzlocke, I wish I had access to the TMs and learn sets that are in Gen 2. So much more coverage. Guess that means I'll just have to do an electric Nuzlocke sooner than later in it. I'm all for it because Ampharos is one of my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon. We're in the home stretch of the gym challenge, so we're going to do a boss rush blitz, starting with Blaine. Electabuzz, he solos this one pretty easily, only taking a little bit of chip damage from a 2-turn Fire Spin from Ponyta, alternating between Body Slam, Thunder Punch, and Psychic, and I get some clutch critical hits in this battle, along with a Fire Blast miss from Arcanine. Next is the final Giovanni battle. There is only one Pokemon that worries me. It's Dugtrio. It's fast and has a high crit rate and is the only Pokemon of his with a Ground-type move in Dig, but Electabuzz is faster than the Sausage Fest and Body Slam gets a crit. It might have mattered, but I don't think it did because Dugtrio's defense stat is on par with what could be worse than single-ply toilet paper. Psychic easily handles the rest of his team, and we can move on to Rival 6. And Electabuzz has been hogging the spotlight in this run and the last few battles, and that trend is going to continue into this battle. It just has an answer for everything on the Rivals team. Thunder Punch can ground both Pidgeot and Gyarados, Psychic takes out the Rock Ground type with low special, I have Body Slam for the defensively frail Psychic type, Psychic for the overgrown Toad, and we can't forget about Little Growlithe. It sadly doesn't matter right now because it's not an Arcanine yet. Remember earlier when I said I wouldn't be coming back to the power plant? I lied. I want all of our captures. Zapdos. Before we go over the final roster, there's one thing I want to tell you guys. I actually had to re-record the Elite Four and Champion battle. I don't know how, but the footage somehow got corrupted. It seems like everybody's having some kind of tech problems these days, including myself, but something I did to try to rectify this. Since after you defeat the Elite Four and Champion, you respawn back in Pallet Town, I loaded my save file into PK Hex. I cleared the Hall of Fame entry, I put my team's levels back to 56, chopped off 1500 stat experience from each Pokemon's stats, And any previously used TM, I just gave myself another copy and deleted that move off the Pokemon, like Mimic and Reflect for an example. I'll admit that the shittiest part of all of this is that some great battles were lost. I actually lost Pokemon in the league and I thought we were going to wipe at the champion. I can't replicate those battles, and I can't guarantee that these battles upcoming will be good, but I just wanted to be transparent with all of you and get this video out and finished. But with all that out of the way, this is the team. We have Electrode with Thunder, Light Screen, Swift, and Reflect. This is my fast, set up screens and stall Pokemon, while hopefully paralyzing with Thunder. This Pokemon was also a candidate for the Toxic TM, but it went to the next Pokemon, Magneton, with Thunderbolt, Swift, Thunder Wave, and Toxic. It got a lot of love with 2 TMs. Electabuzz, easily the run's MVP with Psychic, Body Slam, Thunder Punch, and Thunder. Jolteon, who hasn't seen any screen time to this point now that I think about it, with Thunder, Double Kick, Pin Missile, and Agility. I do have some extra Reflect TMs, one specifically for this thing. And finally, Raichu, with Thunder, Agility, Submission, and Mega Kick. If you're wondering why I have Submission, I taught it as something to have for rock types, because as you know, Raichu was a Pikachu up until the Rival 5 battle in Silph. This is the team, and while I can't replicate the battles that previously happened, I can still use the Pokemon that I used in those battles. Starting with Lorelei, this battle is going to be the Electrode show. I set up both of my screens as a just in case, and just click Thunder. And if this thing had arms and legs, it would be Kung Fu fighting because it's as fast as lightning and using lightning attacks. Bruno is next, and it's Jolteon's battle debut in this one. I set up Agility on the Onix for badge boost, and if this was yellow version, this would be a bit of a difficult battle because Bruno's Onixes know Dig and Earthquake between the two, which would honestly wreck my team of electrical Pokemon. They don't in red and blue though, and it's just a matter of slowly taking them down with Double Kick. And against Bruno's fighting types that aren't part ground type, just use Thunder. Agatha is next, and in the corrupted footage, I actually lost Raichu in this fight, while also losing Magneton and Jolteon either here or later in the league. It was either to Agatha or the champion. God, I wish those battles didn't get corrupted. Anyway, against her lead Gengar, it's faster than Magneton and tags me with a Nightshade, which does a lot due to Magneton's pathetic HP stat. I paralyzed the ghost with Thunder Wave so I can outspeed it and rip a Thunderbolt, which does about half, as it's caught in paralysis and we take it out. Thunderbolt then goes on a tear, one-shotting the next 3 Pokemon, although I do get crits on Haunter and Arbok, which I believe mattered. But I don't use damage calculators in these Nuzlockes, cause that's a bit more fun to me. The final Gengar comes out and tags me with Nightshade, bringing me to 30 HP as I go for Thunder Wave to paralyze it, before swapping to Raichu, which Gengar also tags with a Nightshade on the swap in. I go for Thunder on the next turn, which hits doing half, and Gengar is caught in paralysis. My second hits but doesn't knock it out, and it just goes for Dream Eater, as I hit a third in a row to win the battle. Lance is last, and the Dragon Master is a joint effort to defeat. Raichu misses its opening Thunder before getting tagged with a Dragon Rage, as my second hits easily one-shotting his lead Gyarados. Against the following Dragonair, I set up Agility for some badge boost, as it matches my agility with one of its own, before Mega Kick one-shots it thanks to a crit. Unfortunately, I miss Mega Kick against the next Dragonair, as it hits me with Dragon Rage to bring me to half. I didn't want to risk getting hit with Hyper Beam at this point, so I swapped to Electrode. I set up my 2 screens, which Light Screen wasn't necessary here, and slowly chip down Dragonair with Swift and Thunder, before moving on to Aerodactyl. We all know Aerodactyl is fast, but Electrode is faster, as Thunder one-shots. Last is Dragonite. Thunder does half, and I'm out of PP of this move now because I forgot to use a PP restoring item after Lorelei. I start chipping Dragonite down with Swift before it fires a Hyper Beam, bringing me to 34 HP. In the moment, I felt like my best option was Electabuzz because it has Psychic, which will deal neutral damage and has a chance to lower Special. But looking back, Magneton would have been a good choice as well because of Toxic and Thunderbolt for neutral damage. Dragonite does give me a scare because Hyper Beam deals so much damage to Electabuzz, but it hangs on, and a second Psychic finishes the pseudo-legendary. Finally, the Pokemon Champion. I lead Raichu in this one and decide to get some badge boosts in with agility, as Pidgeot just mirror moves them, before I unleash a Thunder one-shotting the annoying bird. Thankfully, Raichu's inaccurate moves continue to hit, as it delivers a Mega Kick to Alakazam's dick to one-shot. Against Rhydon, I get a bit trolly here. I'm going to mimic Horn Drill, which is a strat I had to do in a video that I haven't even started editing yet, and I don't know if that particular Pokemon is going to get a follow-up to see if I can improve it. After 5 uses of the move, Horn Drill finally hits to one-hit KO Rhydon, and the next 2 Pokemon, Gyarados and Arcanine, stand no chance as Thunder and Mega Kick wreck them. Moving on to his ace Venusaur, I was hoping I could get the Horn Drill victory, but sadly I can't, and I have to swap when Venusaur charges for Solar Beam. I swap to Electrode to tank the attack, and then swap into Electabuzz, who gets hit by a Razor Leaf, which does over half. I leave our starter in and fire off a Psychic, which does less than half but gets a special drop, and Venusaur charges for Solar Beam again, letting me fire off another Psychic, knocking it out, winning us the run. We did it. We beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Red using only the electric type, another one to cross off the list, and we don't have many left to do. Just normal, fighting, psychic, grass, and ground. I've stated prior that I don't have interest in doing a Dragon or Ghost Nuzlocke in these games, because it's just a Ghastly and Dratini line solo run, which I've already done a Gengar solo run, although it's very aged to this point, but I did do a redo about a year ago, and I've actually never ran Dragonite on the channel, but I want to this year, so I guess let me know down in the comments which of those 5 typings you'd want to see next, or if you want to see me dive into another Generation 2 run. As always, thank you for the continued support. Special shout out to my channel members, and I'll catch you in my next video. Take care, everybody.